Hello, Fightful Faithful, and welcome to another episode of the Sour Graps post NXT post show after party deal. There's not really much to celebrate after this episode. I mean, not much. There's some, but not much. Yeah, we try and make it fun, talking about just reprehensibly bad wrestling. Uh, you know, uh, wrestling programming. God love them. They're trying in the ring, but nobody's trying behind the typewriters writing this shit because it's
they
terrible.
might be behind typewriters, like with
but they're
the
not
brand
trying. They're not trying. That's
no,
for sure.
No,
They're
but
not
like
trying.
that's like a haha thing. But like their sense of humor indicates they might have really stopped evolving technologically.
Yes.
At the typewriter era.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Everybody, please get in your super chats at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Also, go to humperchats.com, leave a humper chat. That gives us a little bigger piece of the pie if you do that. But if you don't feel like doing the humper chats, no worries. You can always give us money via super chats. So that's nice. Actually, that does go to pay everybody's salary here at Fightful entirely publicly funded. This little deal that we're a part of, which is nice.
Sean always calls us the PBS of wrestling media, and I'm like, we should have a cheesy telethon where we give away like a Fightful tote bag.
Yes, exactly. If you give enough money in super chats and humper chats, you should get a tote bag sent to your house.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also just want to say, I know I deactivated my Twitter, and I appreciate everyone's support because there was just like a lot of nonsense going on that I decided to remove myself from. I'll probably be back at the end of the week, but my birthday is this weekend, and the gift I gave to myself was deactivating my Twitter account and not dealing with any dorks online. But a lot of lovely support was passed on to me via the fella next to me and Sean and stuff. So I'm fine. I'm doing all right. I just I didn't want anyone. People were so alarmed when I deactivated my Twitter, and I'm good. But I'm giving myself a little break from dorks, which means unfortunately via the platform I have to take a break from you guys who I really like. But I am all good. I am so excited to be here talking about bad wrestling today because this is just not great.
The thing of it is that I am of the opinion that there are good dorks and bad dorks, and when you remove yourself from all of dorkitude, you are definitely removing yourself from the bad dorks. But there are good dorks out there who just want to be dorky with love towards you, and that's frustrating.
And I say that with love back. I am also a dork, like the biggest wrestling dork. You guys know me.
I'm a huge dork. But I think that the new thing is like when Glinda comes down into the land of Munchkin Land and says to Dorothy, "Are you a good dork or a bad dork?" You got to pick one. You can only pick one.
It's true.
Yeah. Ryan Sullivan sends in a super chat. So, wait, there's pie. Like a slice of the pie, we get pie.
Yeah, we get a bigger piece of it if you use humper chats.
Yeah, if you use humper chats, we get a bigger piece. He sent it via super chat. So he wants us to have smaller pie. He's confused about the pie. There is pie.
I just told you my birthday is on Saturday.
Yeah, apparently. Here's the thing. In honor of your birthday, Kate, after this show, we will be recording a new episode for the Know Your News channel called Is It Cake? Talking about the Netflix show. I just realized that is in honor of your birthday that we'll be talking about cake this week. So
I'm so excited to talk about Is This Cake. I watched it with my sister, and we just couldn't turn it off. We could have. It wasn't like it was so great, but we just chose not to, and a lot of fun. I see that Buster Elizabeth is in the chat again. What a good boy he's been today.
He says,
I did my spring cleaning. I did my carpet cleaning today. I get a lot done when I deactivate Twitter, I found out.
Mm-hmm.
And he normally is a menace with that. But Buster Elizabeth, you were very good even with the carpet cleaner today, my friend. Thank you. Barks, back right at you.
We have a lot of love toward my co-host, and I'm going to read via these super and humpers chats. Matt Reichel says, "Happy early birthday, Kate! A killer New Japan show on your birthday weekend. Going to support all of my Fightful family." That's nice.
Yes, there is, partner. There is like
JW Pringle says, "Kate, you want I should bust some heads? I've been to the Clink. I could go back. Also, I like pie too. A la mode is the best."
Whoa. JW Pringle's been in the Clink? I have so many questions. I think you're about to meet Tony D there. Hey!
Ryan Lambert says, pie. My fave pie is carrot cake. What's the carrot cake is not a pie.
Carrot is a cake by definition.
I love all things berry. Blackberry pie is probably my favorite. Blackberry pie, like a really good, like perfectly the balance of sweet and tart cherry pie. My grandmother made a killer strawberry rhubarb pie. Right. Every time I have a strawberry rhubarb slice of strawberry rhubarb pie, I'm like, that's not it. I don't know what my grandma did, but the strawberry rhubarb pie that she made was unlike any other kind of strawberry rhubarb. Was it the
ratio?
I don't know. I don't know. And also, like, rhubarb is basically inedible unless it's mixed with strawberries in a pie. I don't know what that is, but it's so true. Jake Salazar says, "Alex and Kate, the only team better than FTR."
That is high praise.
Yeah.
FTR is phenomenal.
Salazar also says, "Kate, you beautiful, amazing woman. Don't let these basement living bastards get to you. I wish I could have seen a few of these because as a Southern Georgia raised guy, I would have put the fear of God in them. Love you, Kate. Stay amazing." Now listen, let's not paint all basement living bastards with the same brush. Because I lived in a basement for some time back in college. It was fine. It was a lovingly appointed basement. Just kidding. It was full of cave crickets. But still, I was a bastard. And I lived in a basement, but I wouldn't have done. Not all basement living bastards are like that. That's all I'm saying.
Also, I don't actually care about them. That's why I removed myself.
Exactly. Mark Quill says, "Reason number 510,222 to why Kate Elizabeth is great. She is very funny and one of the finest voices of women's wrestling around. Plus, she has the best bangs in the biz. Happy Tuesday, everyone. SGS for life. Kate forever." You're getting so many wonderful everyone, like everything. The Shotki 29 says the SGS stands strong for its sour queen, Kate. Spine on the Pine says, "Kate, screw the nonsense. You are amazing. Thank you and Alex for the constant enjoyment."
I love you guys.
Tom LaValle says, "In anticipation of Kate back on screen, I've seen a lot of negativity on Twitter. I cannot imagine what shows up in the DMs from the worst of it. I've seen a lot of wrestlers speak out against this stuff, including Punk, Buff, and Kid Bandit. Love to all." Yeah, we just don't be an asshole. That's kind of my thing. That's always my thing.
That's it.
Harry Yazawa says, "Even Matthew Plus broke character for you. You're special."
Oh, the kindest of gestures.
Yeah, there you go, man. When that son of a bitch Matthew Plus is saying nice things,
I know.
You know your
baby face turn. But here's the thing, he knows, like, oh God, did they poke the bear? Like, because he knows I could kick his ass. That's the problem.
Yeah. The battered one Jam Beer says, "Happy early 26th B-Day to Kate, not Catlin."
Oh, very kind of you. Like, very kind of you.
Daisy Ruth says, "Love both of you immensely. Sending it in advance because NXT fucking puts me to sleep and I always catch up with you." I had to drink an energy drink at the halfway point of NXT tonight, or I would not have made it through, Kate. This was not a great one.
This is really bad. It was really bad.
I'm gonna. There was so many of these. I'm gonna stop and go back to the birthday wishes and the Kate, you're an awesome person wishes as we go through this, because otherwise I'm just gonna keep writing this forever. The battered one Jam Beer says, "Sorry, but strawberry rhubarb pie beats all pie. My grandma's does, but every other one I've had is like this. It's good. It's just not my grandma's pie." So yeah.
What if she was the one that went off the rails with the strawberry rhubarb? What if it was like secretly strawberry rhubarb and vodka or something. And
just... maybe like 8-year-old me was like completely soused and had no idea. Maybe. Okay. So what? So last week, Kate, at the end of spring breaking, Braun Breaker beat Joe Gacy for the title. And after the air, off the air, he was attacked by two dudes in red masks and black hoods, druids-ish. And they stretchered him out at the behest of Joe Gacy. And then we got to see tonight the aftermath of that, which was that they trundled him into a car and drove off into what he later says was the wilderness. But it seems like they just went down to the retention pond somewhere in Full Sail University and left him there. But they beat him up and they leave him, they say, in the wilderness, like to die of exposure. Like I don't know where exactly. Like they would have been really cool if they'd actually spent the money and the time to drive him out into something that looked like the Everglades, and then imply that they left him out there in the swamps. Like, find your way home if you can, champ. But it was obviously just a retention pond. So, like, it was just kind of funny that this was their big plan. Well, like, I will take over the world. The world will never be the same. And plan A of me taking over the world is to kidnap the champion of the developmental brand of WWE and drive him 5 minutes down the parking lot to the retention pond, and then leave him there to find his way back home. No cell phone. He can't call an Uber.
I have a hard counter to that, and that even if this was produced with a $4 million budget and they took him to the Everglades itself, this would still be dog crap. This is terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was really, really terrible.
This whole thing is so bad.
Yeah. Later in the episode,
the people who don't watch
are
having a field day in the chat. I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, what is basically the motto of NXT 2.0 at this point. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. So, yeah. So later in the night, Joe Gacy he's there to explain himself, I guess. He comes out and he starts talking about the specific guys who are there with him. There's one tall guy and one not so tall guy. Both white guys, you can tell because they see their hands.
Like on a scale of 1 to Sean Ross Sapp, like a 7 though. Like tall, but not like Sean.
Well, one guy is noticeably shorter than the other.
Correct.
That's all I'll say. And they're both white guys. They don't seem to be very hefty either. They did not like go out and find a dude who looks like he's carried the same kind of weight as Harland.
No.
Like no. These are regular looking guys. And Joe Gacy talks about them specifically. These two men stood above and beyond. That's why you only see the two of them. Not because WWE couldn't afford all the other druids in the extras budget from 2 weeks ago. No. It's because I fired the rest of the druids because they were bad druids. These are the only two good druids, is basically what he said. And I was like, okay, so unmask them. And they never did. And they was like, Braun, if you can find your way back, I'm taking over the world. Can you stop me, Braun? This isn't over, Braun. Breaker. Here's my unfortunate prediction, Kate.
Don't say it.
It's GYV. It's the Grizzly Young Veterans are the Druids. No. And here's why I predict this, Kate. This was brought to my attention earlier today. Somebody sent me this on the Twitter. Do you remember their last tag match? Because I didn't. I forgot about it. But they lost a tag match versus somebody. I don't know. Oh, they wanted to have a match. They had a match versus Legado del Fantasma because both of them thought they should be the first challengers to Yes Boy. By the way, Yes Boy, not at all
Nowhere
on the show. Nowhere to be found on the show. So they lost that match. And then they interviewed them backstage. The only place this was ever put was on Instagram. Was an interview with Mackenzie Mitchell and the members of GYV, Gibson and Drake. And it is some really, really profound, naturalistic acting work by Gibson. I question of it how much is acting, but it's like he says, we always say soon all the time. And maybe it's time to just give that up, because we will not soon to be recognized as anything. Like we left our families and our friends and moved halfway across the world during a pandemic, leaving all our loved ones back home, not knowing we'd ever see them again, to come here to become champions. And how's that turning out for us? And he is so forlorn and broken by this that he walks off. He removes, like they have those Liverpool colors scarves they wore. He like throws it down, dejected, and walks away. And then she turns to Drake and she says, "What do you have to say about this?" And he says, "You're not going to be seeing grizzled young veterans around there ever again." And he walks away. And so now they're no longer Gibson and Drake. They're Druid 1 and Druid 2. That's what I believe, because they weren't released, so they're still around. Like, I feel like they are the right height. These two guys, these two Druids, are the right height to be Gibson and Drake, and who are one of the 10 best tag teams in the world if you just let them wrestle. And in NXT, they're Druid 1 and Druid 2. That's what I think. That's who I think those two guys are.
I'm so mad at you.
Because the short one was not built enough to be Fabian Eichner. I mean, that would be also a terrible thing. But that's
up GYV into your tag picture.
Not allowed.
You're right, because of the height differential.
Yeah,
why? There's like so little that I like left, and they just either release it or ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Orion Ben 666 says NXT just cannot stay consistent with the out of ring stories. The in-ring product tonight was good. Out of the ring, D-level comic book supervillain stuff. Seriously. I really do question if Joe Gacy, if you're going to take over the world, like this is like you're below Pinky in the Brain type stuff. Like you are not taking over the world anytime soon, Joe Gacy. Narf. That's what I have to say to you, sir. Narf.
But like, if you want to take over the world, does that start with the NXT title?
Apparently.
Like, why steps. Is this the title picture?
Baby steps.
My concern is that Joe Gacy is going to win and they're going to call Braun up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, gosh. Okay. Back to telling you how awesome you are.
Okay.
Jake Salazar says, "Don't poke the Kate. One bear tried and he got turned into a rug. True story." Kate, bear killer Elizabeth. It's true. It's
got the scar to prove it. It's just covered up.
The battered to one Jam Beard says, "Kate, I learned at a young age when my mom was hitting her 50s. Every woman stays 26 or 27 on their birthdays, no matter what."
Well, that's very generous as someone that's in their mid-30s. You know who's still in there?
I myself am 24. Just 24. Anyone asks, I'm 24. I'm hitting my prime.
But we're also on the Oregon Trail.
Time stands still when you're around me, sweetheart.
It's a construct. I read about it in the Women's Day.
Oh, boy. Jake Salazar says, why is Joe Gacy going to take over the world wearing Vince's old It was me all along, Austin Robes. I don't know. I don't know. Bryce Soon Yee says, hope you both are amazing. Long live Sour Graps. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Harry Izawa says, SGS's dorky butler, sending some love to two of the most amazing people in the world. Kate, you did the right thing. Enjoy your week and your B-Day, girl.
Thank you.
The Hound says, can't watch till tomorrow, but excited to hear the sourness from tonight's NXT. Also, F the haters. Glad to see Team Kalex tonight. SGS for life. Larry B. Dupree's the third says that you and he are birthday twins. He's hitting the big 4-0 this Saturday, so hope you enjoy a slice of cake or pie or cake pie this weekend too, Kate.
My fellow Taurus. Here's a fun fact. Did I already tell you this? I was 2 weeks late.
You did. You told me this.
2 weeks.
Yep.
I switched astrological signs so that I could be birthday twins with him.
Mm-hmm. Ricardo the Bot Guy saying, seeing Kate here with you, Alex, makes my night.
Oh, thank you.
And then I am La Lucha says, I'm just here for Kate to ruin me too. Much love. Of course, I don't know if anybody knows this, if you haven't been watching the other shows. Apparently somebody decided to rescind their subscription to Fightful Select because Kate has ruined me.
Alex. But then they resubbed.
And then they resubbed.
They're like, I'm going to resub, but it was just really important that you guys know.
Yeah. Yes. Oh boy. Okay. So here we go. Here we got the JW Pringle and your dad's saga. JW Pringle says, Paul Elizabeth, may your coffee never get cold. Council of Marks, may your robes never come untied. Kate, may your bangs never be not banging. Gabagool.
Thank you. It's a lot of work with the straightener these days.
Your dad says, Sir Pringle, thanks for the warm coffee wishes. May we, the Council of Marks, and the rest of SGS thrive forever. Gabagool, and also with your spirit. And JW Pringle talks about his time in the Clink. He says, just a few overnighters. I'm an upstanding citizen now, far as you know. I love the idea of him spending time in
shoot.
I love the idea of him spending time in the drunk tank, like Otis in Andy Griffith's show. Just go in there and sleep it off, okay?
JW Pringle, your checkered past. I'm so intrigued. The layers of my kind of brother have really...
Yes. The battered one, Jam Beard says, hey, I'm a Taurus too. We are the best sign.
We are, though, knowing my dad is in the chat. He had a very, 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 very stubborn daughter. So, still does. Still does.
Yeah. And Tom LaValle says, if we're giving out tote bags to the people who who send in the most super chat money,
the Fightful telethon.
Tom LaValle says Mark Losper deserves a parachute-sized tote.
A duffel bag.
Yeah. So let's keep going. Let's keep going as much as we can here. Ryan Lambert says, I haven't watched NXT in a bit. How's that Richie Steamboat kid doing? On a serious note, sending y'all all the love in the world from Chicago. Thank you, Ryan Lambert.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm the old Richie Steamboat kid. I don't know what he's up to these days, but he would not. Yeah, it wouldn't work. So
you would not.
We got to start the night Toxic Attraction. It's Gigi and JJ defending the women's tag titles against Wendy, Choo, and Roxanne Perez. All right. Okay. So Mandy Rose is out there during the match, and at one point, I'm not going to go into the details of the match. Like, do we Is it worth
delightful music playing behind you?
That is it's awesome that you can hear that.
I expect a jig.
That is the sound that plays when the wash is done in the washer at our new house.
My parents had one of those in their old house.
Yeah, and so that just plays, and it plays forever. Like it plays for like 45 seconds, just in case you didn't hear. It's not like a ding, it's done. It's like we're gonna play you the full friggin' like Rachmaninoff, whatever the hell they're playing over there. And like, no, I get you. I'm just doing something. I'm not gonna go over to the laundry room right now. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into all the details of the match. When Roxy's great. Wendy Choo plays her role to perfection. The Toxic Girls, whenever they decide to actually work, are fine. Usually it's just them posing a lot, and playing the role of their haughty, also haughty heel champions. Fine. At one point, inexplicably, Mandy Rose gets in the ring. I don't know what she was doing. I guess she was checking on Gigi Dolan. Checking on her why, I'm not sure, but she's there so that she can shove Gigi out of the way of a diving Roxanne Perez. And then Wendy Choo attacks Mandy Rose, and they roll to the outside, which allows Roxanne Perez to be basically double teamed, and she gets pinned. And then Wendy Choo follows Mandy Rose back into the ring where she attacks her, but then she's ganged up on 3-on-1. And they beat her down, stomp her out. And then Mandy Rose, standing over Wendy Choo, yells, "You will never look like me." And we're back to that again, which is what put me off of this team from the get-go. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not from. I get it, they're heels, but Jiminy Christmas, like this is just not like what, like why are we assuming Wendy Choo wants to look like you? I don't.
What the hell does that have
this
to do
is a
with
woman
wrestling?
This is a woman who decides to go about her life dressed in sleepy pajamas all the time. You think that the reason she's doing that is because she's not able to wear booty shorts? I believe it's easier to find a pair of booty shorts than a pair of like adult footy pajamas.
Yeah, to wrestle in them.
She is trying to go out there and look like this. It's weird.
It also just has nothing to do with being good at wrestling. So like during and post match, that makes the least amount of sense. Like if you're doing the like I'm a star stuff and I'm so hot stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't the time or the place for that piece of it, even. Like, if... I don't know, man. It's also just, like, so incredibly one note, and that one note played about 3.5 months ago at least. Like, this has just gone on far too long. And to your point, like, it just has nothing to do with Wendy Choo or Roxy. Like, why would you not say, like, if I'm a heel in that situation... hot as I may be, why would I not say, like, you just got here, you have no idea what you're doing, and the first person you decide to pair with, and they were kind of hinting at this, which made sense, the first person you lock in with is this absolute joke of a competitor. I've held the title for 9 months now, or whatever the hell it is. Like, it makes no heel sense to even do that. Yeah, I don't know. The match was like Roxy can really go. Like that's what I've learned, and
she's really great.
Wendy Choo is like you said, plays her note to a T. I actually liked in the beginning when she crossbodied all three of them, like before the bell rang. I thought that was actually a very fun way to start the show. But like that's the other problem is, and I think Gigi and JJ are fine in the ring, but like I don't know, you should not be getting outclassed that much.
Yeah. We got later in the night. We have Indy Hartwell sitting alone in the break room. It always looks like a break room to me, not like anything else. It just looks like a break room.
It is.
And then Mandy, Rose, and Toxic Attraction walk up and are like, "Hey, Indy, I know we, have had our issues in the past, but I was just wondering, like, how are you doing? I cannot imagine what you're going through." And Indy's like, "Yeah, it's been really tough. I feel lost. I don't even know what's going on right now," and blah blah blah. And then Mandy's like, "Oh no, I think you misunderstood me. What I mean was, like, I cannot imagine being you, because I cannot imagine a man ever leaving me. I leave all the men." And they're like, "Yeah, she leaves all the men, and the men don't leave her because she's hot. Anyway, bye." And then Indy is angry. And so it appears that the reason that they've given us for why Dexter Lumis is no longer on television, I mean, obviously it's because he was released, but they have to write him off TV. He was a major character in a huge plot involving other people who are still on the show. And the thing that they've appeared to have given us is that he left Indy Hartwell ostensibly for another woman, and now they are divorced. And if that's the best you guys can do, like, yes. I mean, I don't know. Here's one. So he got arrested by the FBI because someone was running a cold case string of murders from the late 90s, all committed with a hatchet. And all we know is the dude had a mustache and a weird tattoo on his right shoulder. And hey, we did a DNA thing because of all the COVID tests everybody's been doing. We've been running DNA and checks, and look at that, you popped in. It's you. You were the one who killed everybody. Now you are a soulful artist now, but at the time, 30 years ago, you were a murdering teenager, and now we have to arrest you and you're gone.
My concern is next week we find out that somebody comes up to Duke Hudson and it turns out that Duke and Persia ran away together.
The Dexter and Persia ran away together.
Yes, sorry, Dexter.
Now, if that's the thing that they're going to do, fine. Like, it has not been that we haven't actually mentioned anything really about Persia. Actually, they haven't mentioned Dexter by name, but like, he's been a fixture with the character of Indy for so long that if you see Indy and you've been watching the show for longer than 3 weeks, it's like, where's Dexter? Oh, I guess Dexter left. That's weird. This is just bad.
Yeah. It's not good. Indy Hartwell deserves a title shot run for sure. Mm-hmm. Like a meaningful program at the top of the card. Do I wish it was not with Mandy Rose? Of course. But the good thing to come out of this is that Indy Hartwell looks like she's going to get a spotlight. So I will take that.
Yeah. Orion Ben says, Kate, late, he means early, birthday present. Aaron Judge, three-run walk-off home run.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, good. Orion Ben also says, involved in this tag team match, the best wrestler was the joke character. Like Wendy Choo is really great, but I think Roxy's is special. She's so young and she's only going to get better and better and better.
She is, and that's also okay. Like Orange Cassidy, who everyone loves to compare it to, is a fantastic wrestler, and he's the joke a lot, right? And you have to say that as the heel, because otherwise the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah. JD Pringle says, cold case, more like cold cuts, gabagool, yow!
Nailed it.
The Battle of One Jam Beard says, I was always a big fan of Lumis in NXT, but I felt like he could have been called up to join Seth as one of the disciples a few years ago, or call him up and join Edge, or hell, he could have joined Gacy. Honestly, though, like him, like Ed, the House of Purple, the House of Black, like could definitely use a murderer with a mustache, because it wouldn't be any sillier if you added a mute guy who is obviously a serial killer to that faction. Yeah.
I got nothing. There's just nothing that can save House of Purple for me. Like nothing.
James Bauer says, Kate, as much as it hurts as a Cubs fan, I hope you enjoy the rest of Anthony Rizzo's career. I miss him immensely.
I hope I do too, buddy.
So there was a backstage segment of Roddy Strong punching one of those like punching bags that is made to look like a dude with no arms.
Yeah.
And I always look so funny to me because for a second there I'm like, hey, why are you punching that man with no arms?
You know what, Monty Python, the guy that gets his arms, the it's only a flesh wound when it gets his arms cut off. Yeah. Come on,
come back here! I'll bite your legs off. So then the Creeds show up and like, hey, Roddy, we need to talk. Hey, you're not still sore about last week, guys? A win is a win, baby. And I don't know when Roderick Strong became like this Hollywood agent type guy, but that's actually, hey kids, what are you talking about, man? Win is a win, baby. You're all good. But they're upset, and they brought up, and I honestly had not realized this up until last week when the win was tainted. The Viking Raiders had never lost in NXT. Like, they didn't? Is that true?
Is that true? Because they just love to lie about things.
I mean, like, honestly, like, it seems weird to say, like, it's possible, but.
Oh, but is this one of those BS things where the Viking Raiders never did, but the War Raiders did?
Yeah, perhaps. That might be true. Anyway, so we went and we got them to give us another match against them next week, and this time it's gonna be true. This time it's gonna be real, and nobody's gonna get in the way, and it's not gonna be tainted victory. Our wonderful research assistant / mod, Luis Polito, saying it's true they left NXT undefeated.
Good for them. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that's actually a cool part of the story then.
I suppose that is. I do love how they've been ruined so much since they left NXT that when they came back to NXT, they are no longer the same guys from NXT, and they lost her immediately upon returning to NXT.
Oh, of course, yeah.
By some stupid distraction finish that they never would have fallen for 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Ain't black and gold anymore, my friend.
Anyway, Roddy Strong says, hey, you're gonna love the new guy I got. I brought in a new guy. He does this weird thing. Like, he's from Minnesota. I'm from Wisconsin, so we're practically twins. I'm like, I don't know what is this character?
There's one extremely big difference between the two of them that would indicate they're not twins.
And so he brings in Damon Kemp, who, if you don't know, is Gable Stevenson's brother. They're leaning real heavily into like Gable Stevenson, like NCAA champion, Olympic gold medalist. However, this dude we also hired as his brother, and you're not allowed to know they're brothers. Yeah, that's just a weird thing. Like, just call him the Steve. Like, they should be brothers. Why aren't they brothers? Like, I get it. Like, you think one guy's a big enough star and doesn't need to learn anything about the business. He's going to show up on Raw and probably win the U.S. title from Theory at SummerSlam. But like, his brother needs to go to NXT, fine, but you don't have to change his name to Damon Kemp.
I mean, if Braun Breaker's not a Steiner,
it's so weird.
I think they have no faith in him, and they don't want the name out there if he's gonna flame out. I hate that. I hate that they're still doing. He has the fucking Diamonds Are Forever patch on his jacket, and it's like, oh yeah, except for when you release the most valuable part of the stable. Right. But okay, the whole angle that was that diamonds are not forever. This was a breakup. Yeah. So didn't love that. And do we want to talk about whatever the hell that Viking Raiders?
That was the next thing.
You want to talk about that now? Because buddy.
Yeah.
What the hell was this generic ass promo? Barf.
Creed brothers, we think you are very honorable for realizing that you cheated to beat us. And it's true that we were undefeated in NXT, but next week we're going to get our win back, and Ragnarok will come down from Mount Asgard, and we will use Thor's hammer to destroy you. This is how we talk because we're actually Vikings.
This was like the most token. Terrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, there's something great about that. Like, hey, you know what? You realized that it wasn't a fair shot, and we're gonna have a fair shot, and buddy, we're coming after you in that fair shot. This was unrecognizably bad. Like, ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, next week we get the Creeds versus the Viking Raiders. Again.
Which will probably be a great match in ring.
Yeah. There you go. This is the problem of rushing our show. Jake Salazar says, guys, this is random, but who is Double Vest in the Beach? Because I tried Googling it and nothing came up. Like, I have absolutely no idea who these people are. Like, what are their real names?
Oh, sweet Jake.
Their names are Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, but they are forever in our hearts. Double Vest in the Beach.
Double Vest in the Beach. God bless you for Googling that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what came up when you Googled Double Vest in the Beach.
No. We got a ridiculous thing of like, hey, earlier this week, Grayson Waller went shopping with Trish Stratton or whatever. Like,
don't say
Stratton.
Trish Stratton. That makes me think of Trish Stratton, who I like.
Tiffany Stratton. Sorry, Tiffany Stratton. And I don't
Stratton
know what it was. It was just like, hey, everything should be weighted so that I come out on top, says Grayson Waller. And Tiffany Stratton saying, yeah, that's true. Also, everyone else is ugly and we aren't. Yeah. And they spent like 2.5 minutes on that. Like, it was really, really bad. It was really, really bad.
It was. And I also just like, what is happening?
I don't know. So it was like, well, and then tonight I'm going to wrestle that loser Andre Chase. What even kind of university is he running over there?
Which is a fair question, to be honest.
And Tiffany Stratton says, who even goes to that college? And it's like, that's actually kind of funny.
That was kind of funny.
Or whatever the hell she said. But then there's a second segment where it's Chase and Bodie Hayward in the locker room, and then Saray shows up in her schoolgirl outfit, and she's like, she says some stuff in Japanese that is translated on the bottom where she says, I want you to change your match to a mixed match, challenge match or whatever, mixed tag match, so that I can get a chance at Tiffany Stratton because I hate both of those people. And then like he says, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese. And Bodhi says, oh, I know it. I speak Japanese. She says she wants you to change your match to a mixed tag match. And it's like, you speak Japanese? It's like, yeah, I take it with Professor Miller Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 to 4. We have a foreign language department. Stop growing on me, Andre Chase University. Stop it. I want to hate you guys because it is so stupid. But like, the fact that you recognize it is stupid makes me like you.
Yeah, no, that was kind of fun. That was a little bit precious. But I hate mixed tag matches so much.
Oh, I hate them.
So I was not excited that got set up, but I did appreciate, like, they kind of started leaning into the fact that this Chase University stuff was like very bad a few weeks ago, and then they pulled back away from it, and now they seem to be leaning into it again. So that was cool until we got a guy dressed as a female cheerleader for no reason.
Here you go. So, Saray is walking out ahead of Bodhi and Andre Chase for their match, and they're doing the thing where she takes the necklace that her grandmother gave her from Claire's, and she looks at it and she goes, and she walks into the light, and they're like, is she gonna wrestle like that or what's going on? And they're like, I don't know, let's follow her. And so they follow her into the light, and they come out. And this is something that was that an incredibly smart person wrote with the intention of it being very stupid. Like, you can tell, like, somebody who is smart about movie tropes and things like that, somebody who's got a brain in their head wrote this, and it just so happened that Vince thought it was funny. Why? Because dude in drag. That's why.
Of course.
But the idea that, like, they walk through the same portal that transforms Saray schoolgirl into Saray superhero girl, and when they walk through the portal, all of their things got jumbled up too. It's like when the Fly travels through the teleportation thing with a dude, then the dude becomes part Fly. That's an old trope from an old movie. That's how they figured that out. So Andre Chase just wears a powder blue sweater with Chase Liu's logo on it, and Bodhi Hayward wears Saray's schoolgirl wig with the pigtails and glasses and a little midriff-bearing halter top, and I think a skirt, which is why Vince said yes, let's do it because of the drag. It was clever and yet immeasurably stupid at the same time.
I think if you want anything good to happen, you have to also present it as the surface version of that good thing.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's true. Orion Ben 666 says a Linda magical girl transformation like Bodhi. That would be really fun if we could get like some kind of star wipe or something, and then it.
Your glasses.
I mean, really, but the thing of it is like it's obvious that I'm putting them on. Like, it should be great if we could like do a thing where, like there's like a little dissolve, and then when you come back from it, it's all of a sudden it's like, hello.
We'll talk to production about it.
Yeah. Talk to production about it. So this was my nightmare. It was a mixed tags match featuring Tiffany Stratton, Andre Chase, and Grayson Waller. I love Saray. She can't save this crap. I hate mixed tag rules. I hate them.
As do I.
I hate them. Like, you can say I don't like intergender because it's weird to like see men fighting women. That's fine. That's up to you. Whatever. I don't mind intergender. I'm not like super into it like some people are, but I don't mind it. I'll watch it. Like basically all of Lucha Underground was men. Whenever women would fight men all the time, it was fine. There was no problem with it. It wasn't like a weird thing. It was just a thing. It was a thing that happened. But the solution to it, if you don't want to see men hitting women in the face, is not, hold on, let's stop the match while we both tag out. Like, that's not it. That's not it.
No, just don't do it. I like it when there's a story built around it and it's not just like, hey, you're dating. Yeah. So I did appreciate that about it. Like, Saray hates both of them. So that part of it was good. And Saray is fantastic in the ring. Yeah. It's just also weird to have this combination of people with Chase University. Yeah. You know what it wasn't? I wouldn't say it was like magic. You know what I mean?
It definitely wasn't magic.
It definitely wasn't. And if I was logged in, that would be my segue to something. But Saray is magic because she does like the whole magical girl transformation. Uh-huh. But sometimes I think that magic comes from a protein-packed breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yes. And if you were logged in, you would do something like this.
Cameo. What's up, you guys? It's Sean Ross Sapp. I'm not here physically on the show right now, but I still wanted to tell you about how I'm starting my day no matter where I am with delicious Magic Spoon cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories per serving. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb. It is the ultimate breakfast food. It's the ultimate snack food, and it's the ultimate food for me to take while I'm traveling. Quick, easy, all the flavors you love. Peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, maple waffle, cocoa, fruity, frosted, all over the place. That cookies and cream and maple waffle are back permanently. And if you go to magicspoon.com/Fightful, grab a custom bundle of cereal, try it today. Use our promo code FIGHTFUL at checkout to save $5 off your order if you don't like it. They are so confident in their product. It comes with a 100% happiness guarantee. They'll refund your money, no questions asked, if you don't like it, but you will. It's perfect before, after workouts, as a snack. And my favorite thing about it is you get filled up with one serving. It's not running back and forth to the cupboard to get more, racking up those carbs, racking up those calories. Magicspoon.com/Fightful. Use that code FIGHTFUL.
There you go.
You know what else is magic?
What else is magic?
Fightful Select is magic.
It's true.
And it only costs you $5 a month. Yes, subscribe to Fightful Select today for all the latest and greatest breaking news and professional wrestling media.
Yeah.
Some good stories going up there. I'm trying to think of what even recently was out. I feel like everything moves so fast in wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of Impact stuff with Under Siege. The Stu Grayson news. There's gaming news if you're a gaming person. So subscribe there for $5 a month. It's great.
Mark Quill says, nothing like Team Kalex segues to warm the soul.
Oh.
Can we cool down the soul? It was like 90 degrees here today. Like, let's cool down the soul.
It was
like there's no such thing as spring. It was 40 degrees last week. It was 90 degrees today. I want spring. It was my favorite season growing up as the blooms came up slowly through the ground.
Aww.
And it was like it slowly got warmer and warmer, and then eventually it was summer. Now it's like winter, summer. There's nothing in between, and I'm sick of it.
Not here. It was like 70 and beautiful. Also, shout out to people in the chat that are keeping me posted on the breaking Fightful Select news. Thank you. Yes, the up, down, down news that was on Fightful Select today. We love Xavier Woods for that.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for Impact this week. You guys are so great.
So more things from people's Humper chats. Jay Larkin says, Kate, you are great. Al Horford murdered the Milwaukee Bucks last night, and as a Celtics fans, I wish you no luck in this series, respectfully. It was always going to go 6 or 7, so both teams had to get 2 victories at some point. Now it's best of 3. We'll see what happens. That's all I got to say about that. Battered to One Jam Beard says, but I'm a ginger. I have no soul.
Fair enough.
Not a gender.
A Ginger Mahal?
Gender also has no soul. So Mark Will says, reason number 777,777 why we love Kate. She's one of the few reasons why New Jersey does not suck. Also, the entire Elizabeth family rocks.
They do. I can vouch for that much.
Aaron, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say diners and solid malls. Other reasons New Jersey doesn't suck.
Aaron H says, for context, I live in Bayonne, New Jersey. This morning at the coffee shop, I overheard 2 old ladies where one said, I knew Linda when she was in high school, and I can't believe she's dressing like her bosoms don't hang past her knees. Disgusting.
I'm telling you, you get it. You're in Bayonne, New Jersey. You get it. Yeah. Linda and Sheila are everyday characters in my life by different names, simply by existing in this wonderful state.
Matthew Plus, this son of a bitch. Matthew Plus says, the only thing worse than NXT 2.0 is the duo reading this message. I see Katie finally succumbed to my relentless and devastating Twitter replies. The SGS community has feigned support in your absence, but they are sheep who I shall soon free. One more thing for all of SGS, Al, and if she decides to return to Twitter, Katie, I will have a message for all of you tomorrow at AEW Dynamite. Stay tuned to TPS and the SGS community for a message tomorrow night in signage form. So he's going to
I'm assuming he's going to Long Island for AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
I went to the last Long Island taping that was there, and MJF's mom was there with a sign that said, "I'm his mom, but even I know he sucks," which I thought was fantastic. That was the same episode CM Punk just cut a promo on the Islanders, which I thought was very fun. So I hope he does that again. But have a miserable time at that taping, sir.
Jake Salazar says, "I'm not finished with you, Matthew Plus."
Heat.
Joseph Snirk says, "The fellow mid-May child, happy early birthday, Kate. Enjoy Capital Collision this weekend, and I'm glad you're doing well. Haters can walk a mile of Legos barefoot. SGS for life."
Thank you. Yes, they can.
The NCB41 says, "Hi, Kate and Alex. Didn't watch the show. Just wanted you guys to know how much we love you and appreciate you both. I joined Select because of you guys. Hashtag SGS member Nicholas Boulay. Hashtag Team Kalex for life."
Thanks for the love, you guys.
Jake Salazar says, "Get these hands."
I was going to say before, it sounds kind of like Matthew Plus is out there to control his narrative. So
Tom LaValle says, "Get him, Jake Salazar. Get him. Get him."
Do we have to do the rest of the show? Can we just lay back and let them
I don't know. We could.
give us money to...
We could.
Oh, there's Lariat. Oh,
Heather says, "I hope you both had fantastic days. I had the choice to walk my dog Howie during the main event or during the show. I obviously couldn't miss this show."
Oh,
so, there you go. Simon Renshaw says, "Much love to Kate and Alex. I missed most of NXT. Started the Nikita match, so I can't wait for you guys to tell me what I missed." Well, let's get back to doing just that. What else did they miss? Okay, so later in the night, there was a Nicholas Starhart sends in a Humper chat saying, "Should we be concerned that Andre Chase has no idea his own college has a foreign language department? What other courses do you think Chase University offers that Andre Chase doesn't know about?" All of them.
Super chat us your suggestions.
Yeah.
How to ever win a fucking match. Just on there.
Jade Pringle says, "Matthew Minus, may your popcorn be burnt and your hot dog come covered in ketchup." Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Oh, that's the worst. So later in the night, we got a promo from Nathan Fraser.
We did.
A promo, an interview. JDB Pringle says, "Nathan Fraser says he looks like he should be on Boy Meets World UK edition." With the outfit was decidedly 1995. I will say that. Like,
he did look like he walked out of Clueless.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, definitely. But so he's like, "Our chat
right now, I can't.
I'm over the moon. I can't believe I won my first match against the Grayson Waller. What an amazing competitor. I can't believe I beat him. Little old me, Nathan Fraser. Can't believe it. But Bob's your uncle. Look at me. I did. I won. That's amazing." I don't know why that's the voice that I hear coming out of him all the time. He just feels like, it's like, dude, you're amazing. You don't need to be like, "Oh, I can't believe I won. Isn't that amazing?" No, you're really good. You should be a little bit more. I don't know. The false humility is weird.
He's just trying not to be the next Butch. All right.
He gets walked up on by Zion Quinn, who's like, "Hey, you're the new guy, right? Don't worry. You'll just run it straight and you'll be fine." And then Nathan Fraser says, "I've got one question for you, though. What does run it straight mean?" And Zion Quinn's like, "Nobody questions my catchphrase." And then Wes Lee shows up and says, "See, nobody knows what it means. Didn't I kick your ass? Yeah, but now I want you to kick my ass again." Basically, is what that was. And so now we had a Nathan Fraser thing. Maybe he's going to have a match with Zion Quinn, maybe not. But we know for a fact Wes Lee and Zion Quinn are having it again. There you go.
Can we just go through the match that's unfolding? The promos that are unfolding in our chat.
Here we go. Matthew Plus says, "You're not worth my time, Jake the Salamander." Jake Salazar says, "That's right. Attack 2 jobbers with 1 chat. Come at me, bro. This Salazar Symphony, bucko." That's right. Yeah. Jake Salazar says, "Look at Matthew Plus. Matthew Minus, you're basically the SRS of streaming services. A damn jobber." Wow, this is all really good. Here we go. Mark Quill says, "Here's $2 towards seeing Kate hit Maddie Plus with a GTS."
Okay. As much as I love CM Punk, and I do with all of my heart and soul and mind, the GTS is like a very finisher. It's good when Kenta does it, but like I would say like a good like 37% of the time it doesn't hit the knee, but it will when I hit Maddie Plus with it.
Yeah. James Bauer says, "I love you all, but I love you all as much as I hate 2.0. This episode was, as usual, booty butt cheeks, but I love Team Kalex. War games." Ivy Nile, is she still in Diamond Mine? I don't know. She's now got the Ivy Nile challenge.
That's what this is for.
Is it for that?
If you can hang, I think.
To recruit people? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Is that what that is? So she's on Roddy's side? All right. Whatever.
Sure.
Who cares? She makes a bunch of dudes do push-ups, and then she makes them do lunges with what they call Bulgarian bags around their necks. And then after lunges, then it's the rope thing, and then they put a really heavy chain around their necks, and then they do pull-ups. And eventually, there's only one guy left, and he can't do as many pull-ups as she can because he weighs 270 pounds and she weighs 95 pounds. It's solid muscle, but she's very, very tiny, and he is not, so he loses. And I guess there's nobody good enough to be in Diamond Mine. I don't know what all of this was, but good for Ivy Nile getting time on television.
Here's the thing. This is what I've learned about Diamond Mine in the past couple of weeks. It's about drive and it's about power.
Yeah.
So, Ivy Nile, she stays hungry. She devours. She puts in the work. She puts in the hours. It takes what's ours. I can't believe I know all the words to that.
Jake Salazar says, "Matthew Minus, you're nothing more than second best. I'm main eventing Sour Graps. You're just on Sour Graps' dark elevation." So good for Ivy Nile. Good for Ivy Nile getting her own little segment. We'll see where they go with her after all this. I'm not really sure. Nerd Guru says, "Not wrestling related, but I want your take on an argument my friends and I have had many heated debates over. What's the optimal utensil for ice cream cake? Spoon or fork?" Nerd Guru says, hint, it's spoon.
Yeah, duh.
It's spork.
I mean, sure. But if I don't have sporks just laying in my utensil drawer.
I mean, that's your fault. That's not my fault. That sounds like it's a you problem.
I mean, it's a spoon.
I mean, of the two,
yeah,
it's
of your traditional utensil.
It's spoon. Honestly, it depends on the frozen level of your ice cream cake. If it can be used, a fork might be optimal. But usually, if you're like having an ice cream cake that's been sitting out for any number of minutes, that's gonna start to melt real quick, and you're gonna not like that having that fork around. That's all I'm saying.
The answer is a spoon. That's it.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying there are levels to this thing. There are many different ways of. I'm kidding. It's a spoon. I don't know why I did that. Matthew Plus says, "I want a tote for how much money I bring to you guys."
Well, good for you. Yeah. I want a pony.
Yeah. There you go. Jake Salazar says, "Tote these nuts."
My man.
Jake Salazar says
so much. Did you see him just dunking on Disney World?
Yes. Well, mostly he was dunking on sciatica. Like that was the main thing. If he didn't have sciatica, he might have had a good time. Also, bad weather at Disney World is the worst. Like you go in, like it starts raining. No, not fun. Not fun. Kate, Jake Salazar says, Kate, I'll tag you in. Hit him with that GTS, and then I'll lock in the Anaconda Vice.
There it is.
The last time I went to a Disney type place, I guess I was trying to break in some new shoes because we're on vacation and I wanted to look good or whatever. So I had some newer shoes, and those things did not do well walking the miles and miles around the happiest place on earth. Like my feet were in really bad shape by the time we got back to the hotel. Like it was just like they're all swollen and it was just terrible. Like it was terrible. Like that's like like I can't imagine having sciatica and walking around that place. That'd be terrible.
I can't imagine walking around that place because I don't have a kid, and I think adults that go to Disney are a little weird.
JW Pringle says Maddie Minus will need a tote for his teeths.
That man's been to prison, son. You don't want to mess with him.
Tote for your teeth. The Battered One Jam Beer says, on behalf of Team KLX, Matt Plus can kiss my grits. Mark Quill says, Maddie Minus wishes he was a main event player in the Sour Graps Galaxy like the Council of Marks are, and the COM is pro Kate every day.
This is so much not about NXT.
Nope, not at all. None of it is. So let's talk about some good stuff.
All right.
So we're going to talk about some good stuff.
I genuinely don't know what you're talking about, so this should be interesting. What was good?
I mean, it started out stupid, but it ended up good. I don't know. It was a weird deal. Like Trick and Carmelo show up, and they're about to enter the building, but Solo's like, "Sorry, kids, you got to stay outside," and locks them out. And it was just like I don't understand what the prank was, or why he did it. But then he goes to the ring and he's super over. Like really there, Solo, and he seems like he's kind of like, I did not expect that, and that's cool. That's got to be a cool feeling for him. But he says this was supposed to be Carmelo and Trick's time, but no, it's my time now, and I like that. I don't care who. I know you think you're going to get your one-on-one match with Cameron Grimes for the NXT Inter-American Championship, but I got next, and Cameron Grimes comes out, and people were like chanting at him, "You got lucky." So like they're super pro Carmella. Sorry, Solo. Carmella. They're definitely changing his name when he goes to the main roster because Vince won't be able to tell the two of them apart.
Carmel with the vowel.
Carmella. Which one's which?
He'll be like Dulce de Leche.
Anyway, yes. So sorry. Cameron Grimes comes out and basically says, "Yes, you got next." And so they kind of like, okay, cool. Uso leaves. That's his name. He's Uso. He's basically Uso. Solo Uso.
Flanders.
And then from behind, Carmelo and Trick Williams attack Cameron Grimes, and they're about to do like the jumping axe kick off the top rope to Cameron Grimes, whose head is inside a chair. And nope, because Solo comes out and saves him, kicks both of their asses by himself. And then there's a moment of weirdness between him and Cameron Grimes, but they seem to be on the same page. So I'm assuming next week we're going to get a tag match. Solo versus Cameron Grimes. Can they coexist? Solo and Cameron Grimes, can they coexist? Versus Trick Williams, super weak link in the match, and Carmelo. Probably the heels win because the tenuous allegiance between Cameron and Solo will not hold. They cannot coexist because that's how they book this shit every damn time. I'm assuming we're getting that next week, and then the Solo match. The Carmelo match versus Cameron the week after, probably. Just thinking.
I'm not unconvinced that won't be a triple threat.
They already did that though, like last week, so I feel like they're gonna do two singles matches back to back as opposed to another triple threat.
I forgot they did that last week.
Yeah,
That's sad.
yeah.
And that match ruled, so my
did.
bad. That was a great match. It was
Yeah.
just the rest of spring break-in was so bad. That was the opener, right? Because I remember being like, ooh.
Yeah.
There is an ease that Solo Sikoa has that not everybody has. Like there's something really special about that guy. And we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point of you could call him up tomorrow, you could call him up in a year. So it's just probably going to be on whatever the bloodline storyline looks like.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I love the way he carries himself. I love him in the ring. He feels very real. Everything he does makes sense. There's just an authenticity that he has that a lot of NXT does. Okay, so the tag match is official.
They've already made it official.
Yeah.
Like it is one of those things where they are so predictable. You can see every step that they're going to take coming a mile away because they always do the same thing 4 or 5 times.
It's true. I have a little bit more leniency for that in developmental. Not
Sure.
a lot.
Sure. You got to understand they've only got 4 plans of attack at any one time. That's why they run the same shit on SmackDown that they run on Raw. That's why literally they spent 5 friggin' weeks doing Lacey Evans promos on SmackDown just to put her on Raw because they don't have anything better to do with themselves. Anyway, Smickers
Hungry? Grab
Smickers?
Smickers.
Smickers says Cameron Grimes doesn't seem like himself. Is he hungry? If he's hungry, grab a Smickers. Is he hungry? What exactly is his character right now? Also, we call the washing machine song the ice cream truck. It does kind of sound like an ice cream truck is coming out of my my laundry room.
I'd be so mad that I can't go get like a bomber pop or whatever.
Yeah. Give me one of them drumsticks. Not that one, the other one. Yeah. So Jake Salazar says Vince will accidentally book a Carmelo and Corey Graves makeout session, thinking it was Carmella. He might.
You know what? If Corey was making out with Carmelo instead of Carmella, might not be like as attracted, you know?
No.
He might need a little help.
He might.
He might need like a...
Is your penis soft? Is it difficult to get hard? Do you have issues with sexual performance? Do you have issues with sexual confidence? BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL, gives you your first shipment of Blue Chew for free. It will help you get a harder, stronger erection. It will make you more confident in your sexual performance. You take an online questionnaire. You work with an online physician. You don't wait in line at the pharmacy. You don't wait in line at the doctor's office. It's prepared and shipped direct in a discreet package. That way, nobody knows that you are getting Blue Chew in order to make your penis erect. Blue Chew and the code FIGHTFUL gets you your first shipment free if you want an erect penis. I'm going to end the ad now.
Jake Salazar says, well, it's definitely soft now.
Well, right now you're watching an NXT post show, so that's fine.
Actually, Shot Kid 29 has said, unrelated but had to ask, where does Lacey Evans being a heel after those vignettes rank among WWE Tone's deaf decision? Listen, I didn't find. I mean, I flatter myself, I guess, to say that I'm smart enough to see through the obvious manipulation of cheer for this woman. She had a horrible upbringing, and she made it through all of that to become a Marine and a mom and everything. And you must cheer for this woman because of that. That is an obvious tactic they're using in manipulation to get her over as a babyface. Them realizing that people might not like being told who to cheer for. Like, you have to cheer for her. Her dad was an abusive alcoholic. You have to cheer for her. Everybody in her family either OD'd or committed suicide. You have to cheer for her. Like, them realizing that people might rebel against that. And so at the last frigging second, switching her heel after all of that without giving us any reason, and then putting her on the different show, if that's actually what is going to happen. Like, it's just, they have no plan B to anything until it's the very final moment. And I don't get it.
So my only thing is they control the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would suddenly care about that rebellion.
I don't know.
My thinking is that they made her heel because they're moving her to Raw and they want her to face Bianca. Not that it organically happened. I think they said, oh, well, we can turn it because we want her to go to Raw. Their champion is a face. And Asuka's a face. So, like, there's nobody there but Becky kind of working the heel picture because Doudrop and Nikki ASH are in the tag picture or whatever. So, I don't think it was planned at all until they decided to switch brands.
Yep. Mom, Marine, hard life, camo pants, see-through bodysuit, and bra. WWE has no idea what they're doing. Says W. Pringle. And Alpha Bill says, cheer for Kate and Alex. Cheer, you heathens.
That you should.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, well, here we go. Lacey had a chance to be a half-decent babyface on SmackDown, and now is a heel on Raw is beyond moronic. Also, now that she's gone, Flair is hurt. How many women are left on SmackDown? Like 6? I don't know. Like, Xia Li was, like, cut a promo, I think, 3 weeks ago about how, like, now the only person I protect is myself. And we haven't seen her or heard from her since.
Shotzi.
I guess. Like, kind of, I suppose.
I actually prefer Lazy as a heel than a face.
Oh, me too. But they absolutely spent all of that time building her up as a babyface with those promos. They were intended to get her over as a babyface, and them to just be like, oh, whoops, that's not going to work, without even letting it see if it did work. Like, it absolutely would work with a core group of their audience. You and I might not go for it, but a core group of their audience absolutely would have gone for it.
If they had just done it as 3 segments and not 5,
yes,
I actually would have gone for it because it was authentic. Yeah. Like, I will take the ride with you if there's something that is authentic. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're telling me your real life story and it was this hard, I will get on your side.
Yeah.
But the way that they rolled it out, kind of killed that for me. But anyway, back to NXT land.
Alba Fire had a match versus Amari Miller.
Is she a pyromaniac at this point?
I don't know. Her I mean, the name, I guess, would suggest it. Maybe she's.
I thought it was supposed to be like, here's some fire imagery because of the fire in our souls.
I guess.
But instead, they were like,
now
I think she's pyromaniac.
Now she wears a red aluminum bat to the ring in a like a scabbard on her back. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what we're doing with Kaylee Ray. Like, Alba Fire is a terrible name. Fire.
Just think of John Alba, like friend of the show, John Alba.
Yeah, I think that she is saying that she will be fire in the future. Like, I'll be fire. Like, I will be fire. I'll be fire. It's weird. I don't know what we're doing. So she won because obviously she did. And good for her.
Who'd she face? Amari Miller, was it?
Amari Miller, yeah. And they did a thing where they were like, hey, just so you know, 2 months ago, Amari Miller took a really dangerous move from Lash Legend, really reckless, terrible reckless move, and she had to be carted off for shoot stretchered out, and we didn't know what was going to happen with that. Touch and go for a little bit, but turns out she's fine. 2 months later, she's cleared to wrestle. Here she's back. Also, later tonight, we'll be seeing that Lash Legend is being rewarded with a spot in the breakout tournament. Because not only is she terrible, she's also terribly reckless. Can't wait to see more of her in the breakout tournament. Yeah.
It would seem as though some adjustments to their training protocols would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Jake Salazar says, my mom said Rhea Ripley looks like a swole Marilyn Manson, and I can never unsee it now. Apparently, my mom woke up and chose violence today. Also choosing violence is Von Wagner, who decides he wants to injure everybody. I did appreciate where they were like, Von Wagner, you've injured a whole bunch of people recently. What's up with that? And they put the microphone in his face, and he just shoves it over to Robert Stone, which is probably for the best. Let's just do that from now on. But then Ikemen Jiro just jumps back into the fray, decides to attack Von Wagner. So we're going to get more of that, I guess. Blah.
Yeah. They got a long way to go before I start giving a crap about either of those two.
Yeah. So here we go. The women's breakout tourney started today. We got Sloan Jacobs versus Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley, who you might remember from last week, is a horse girl. And that's the only thing about her that is consequential anyway, is that she loves horses.
She is gonna win this tournament and show the horse her contract.
I hope they film her doing it, and I hope the horse eats it, because I want horse-based comedy. That's what I want.
But I went the other way. I want the horse to review the contract, like.
Oh, the horse puts thoroughly on bifocals.
Yeah.
So the horse is her lawyer. Horse lawyer. That's. Yeah. If basically there was a spin-off from NXT 2.0 called Horse Lawyer, in which Fallon Henley and Double Vest and the Beach also spin off. They're her wacky neighbors, and her lawyer is a horse, and her lawyer is like the horse talks.
Nobody acknowledges it.
Who does the voice of the horse?
Oh, like from NXT or just in the
No, what sitcom actor do they get to do the voice of the horse?
Ray Romano.
Sold. Give me six seasons of that and a movie.
Wait, what is the show that was legit about a horse though? Like years ago.
Mr. Ed?
Mr. Ed! Perfect. Yeah.
This is not a super chat, but I had to do it. It's Smart Mark Stallion Esquire. Batted at one jab. Beard says so her lawyer is going to be BoJack Horseman. Okay.
No, because wasn't BoJack Horseman was not a horse?
No.
It was a horse head.
Yes. They brought out everybody in the tournament, and they had them all stand there, and they were like, here's all the women who are in the tournament, and then they would show them, and they would show like their intangibles. And a lot of them were like feisty, like oh, I'm feisty. It's my intangible.
What are these yearbook notables?
I don't know. But it also made sure to tell you how old they were and where their shoot hometown was, which was funny to me because Fallon is definitely playing a girl from Oklahoma, but they come out and tell you she's from Michigan, and I was just like, okay, fine, but like you know what you're playing, right? Like just lie to us about where she's from. Horse lawyer SVU. Kung.
Elliot Stable.
Yeah. There you go. That's good. So we got Sloan Jacobs losing to Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley wins with a shining wizard Double Vest and the Beach are out there to
a really good Shining Wizard.
cheer her on. I'm not rooting for this, but I could absolutely see the reason that Double Vest and the Beach break up is because it's a love triangle. And Felon chooses one of them over. It's like both of them fall in love with her, and she has to pick one. Like this friggin' thing, right?
What if it's drawn out for like 8 weeks and she's like, "Sorry, I choose my horse." Right.
Yeah, Sloan Jacobs, of course, is Notorious Mimi, who should be a star but loses in the first round because, of course, she does. She's the youngest
she just
girl.
Got there too. Like,
she's the. I think there's probably going to be an upset in the first round, and of all the girls who lose in the first round, she might be the one I would pick to be like the upset one. But whatever. Jake Salazar says, "Well, I'm a horse girl. I like to pet them. I like to ride them. I like to groom them. I like to feed them. I like to race them. I like to breed them. I'm a horse girl."
Whoa!
So
many horses, so little time.
The second match that we get is Nikita Lyons versus Ariana Grace, which of course is Santino Marella's daughter. They should have just called her Ariana Marella and leaned into the fact that her dad
worked there for decades.
Yes, and I believe won a women's battle royal at a WrestleMania. So
yes, he did.
Yeah, just lean really hard into that, because that's basically the show you're putting on right now, is a show where that is possible. Like I'm just saying, like, this is a show where the Beach in drag winning a women's battle royal is definitely like has a 40% chance of happening within the next year.
I mean, that was Santina Marella. Remember they
right. Yeah. So Ariana Grace is good, but there was no way she was beating Nikita Lyons.
Correct.
That's just not a thing that was going to happen. Shaw Kid 29 says the finals of the women's tourney should be Roxy versus Ariana Grace. Unfortunately, it will be Nikita versus Lash Legend round 2 because they hate their audience. Lash Legend isn't making it to the finals.
And again, her opponents might not be either, so we'll see.
No, right. And Chris Pereira says Bianca Corelli, aka Lady Santino, aka Ariana Grace, looks great and already capable in the ring. Hope they don't blow this one too. Also, Kate, cue AJ Styles music. They don't want none. They don't want none. Yeah, I guess the way it should go is Nikita versus, because they also revealed the brackets. The first round match is Tatum Paxley versus, gosh, I can't remember. And then there was the first round for Roxy is a Sexy Lady Boss. That's in the first round for Roxy. And then it's Lash Legend versus, I can't remember. So I'm feeling like it's probably going to be Nikita versus, at least this is the way it should be, according to the bracket. It should be Nikita versus Roxy in the finals. But I feel like Roxy has as good a chance as any of being taken out of the tournament by interference from Mandy Rose and the Toxic Girls, which sucks because she should just win.
Was Wendy Choo in it?
No.
Oh, that makes me even more suspicious then.
I guess it's Tatum Paxley versus Lash Legend in the first round.
Oh dear God, please give that to Tatum.
Yeah, I feel like no. I mean, like they like the idea that they would see what they would put the matches that we have seen on television. And then be like, yeah, no, let's put Lash Legend in some matches where she wins. Like that's That's incomprehensible to me. They would see those matches and be like, absolutely, let's do more of that with her.
And they've also proven it's putting your talent at risk. That's what I'll never understand.
Yeah.
Botches, fine. Someone had to be carried out on a stretcher. Maybe get the hell off TV. Like, not good.
Yeah. She was a skater horse. She said, see you later, horse.
They were back at the stable after the race.
One of the things they had like an inset promo for Ariana Grace. She says, this isn't my first tournament, by the way. I've competed in jiu-jitsu and judo, and also beauty pageants. And I'm like, Bruce made her say that, didn't he? Like, who the fuck cares that you run a beauty pageant? This is not what a beauty pageant is. Okay. So, we'll save the real main event, what they actually did for the main event. We'll do that last. But here was the actual main event. There's an interview with Legato. They talk about what happened last week, and then he's like, hey, Cruz, go start the car. And so Cruz Del Toro goes and starts the car, but behind him in the car is one of the Goombas, because in front of the car is Tony D, who's like, hey, there's a guy behind you who's going to freaking choke you out. And so that's what happens, and they put him in the trunk of another car, and they speed off with him in there. Then later, Santos and Joaquin Wilde and Elektra go to the car that Cruz was supposed to go to. He's like, what's been keeping him? I don't know. Let's go find him. He's always late, you know. And then Joaquin Wilde just keeps repeating, no está aquí, no está aquí. He is not here. And so like, no, I know who did this. I will call him. And he kisses on the phone, and then Tony's like, hello, it is me. Who's me? I don't know who you're talking about. You know who this is. I don't know who you're talking about. It's me. Oh, you. Oh, hey, how you doing? And it was magic. Like, he's got his two Goombas there with him. Stax is literally making stacks of different bills on the table in front of him. And they do this back and forth about how Santos kidnapped AJ Galante last week, and now he's kidnapped Cruz. And like, you better let my boy Galante go, or I swear to God, I'm gonna put two in the back of your head of your boy. Like, it was just friggin' amazing. Maybe I'll drill some air holes in the trunk of his car if you let AJ Galante go. It was amazing. It was like watching a friggin' Sopranos episode. It was so good. Both of these guys are natural actors. Like natural actors as opposed to read a script guy wrestlers. These guys can really actually put together a turn of phrase. There's the moment where Santos says, oh, and Tony, fuck you. And he flips off his phone and they blur out his mouth. And then Tony's like, this motherfucker. And then he flips over the table. And Stax looks at him like, I was counting that. It was so great. I loved every second of it. But they've decided they're going to settle this like men in the ring next week. Tony D versus Santos Escobar is so, like, that whole feud, all of it, is so much more entertaining and fun to watch than literally anything else on the show. They should just do that for 2 hours every Tuesday. So good.
Everything you said is true. My only concern is, like, if I wanted to watch an episode of The Sopranos, I'd go watch The Sopranos a little bit. Now, the fact that wrestlers are pulling this off, I think, is incredible. But like, I feel like the angle has been rushed, but the fact that they're getting to some in-ring aspect of it is good, because I feel like it's becoming a little bit too much of a mob movie and not a wrestling story. But we are getting back to that, which is good. But I don't want them to touch yet. I kind of wish it was like their boys were the ones in the ring doing a tag match or something along those lines. But like, if that's what I'm complaining about in the greater context of this terrible show, I will gladly take this. It's been so much fun. Legato is just like so unbelievably skilled at every part of what it means to be a professional wrestler, like truly. And I hate that he's drowning in NXT, but I'm glad that this angle has been so compelling because I think I just love the guy.
I don't know. To me, I think you can tell that Santos Escobar is having so much fun playing this version of that character.
For sure.
And getting to work opposite Tony D. Tony D, I think Sneaky has become like the guy everybody wants to work with because they know that like there's going to be actual heat for the segments because he's going to generate it by hook or by crook. He's like, there's certain things that like, only Tony D does the look on his face when Cruz is like, what's going on? And then looks ahead of him and standing there in front of the car is Tony D. And he's like, like there's nobody else who can like convey menace with that face and that noise anywhere in wrestling. I love this guy so much. I am dreading him being completely fucked up forever. Whenever, like at some point, like the thing of it is the character is exactly what Vince likes with wrestling, which is like he's a total goof thing. Like it's a thing that doesn't actually exist. Like the idea, it's like if somebody played Duke the Dumpster Drozy really, really well and made you care about like sanitation. like it's so funny that like this character who's like the favorite son of a mob family is like, no, I'm playing this part now. Like you have cast me in the role of this character. I'm going to do this. Also, I'm going to wrestle and I'm going to wrestle competently, but mostly I'm just going to play this character perfectly. Like that's never happens in WWE anymore.
It really doesn't. And it definitely doesn't happen on 2.0.
No.
And the fact that he's very good in the ring.
Yeah.
And the style that he leans into also works for the character is something that's so like true. So important. Yeah. It's so important and special to what's unfolding here. But like, Legato it does seem like he's kind of having the time of his life on this because it's like the perfect dance partner and it's such a fun story. So I'm happy he's being heavily featured because I think the world of Legato.
Yeah. Mr. Showtime says, hey, Alex and Kate, fuck you. Just kidding. Love you guys. Best line of the night, though. It really was. Like, hey, Tony, fuck you. Like, yes, motherfucker. Like, I love it. This Tony Legato feud is so entertaining. MD Kate, for life. Okay, so now we get to the main event. On this show, as you put it, when I was like, how does this qualify as a main event segment of the evening? And you're like, well, what else was on the show? And you're like, and I'm like, touche. This was a terrible episode. Like the fact that this was the only real possibility for a main event, like unless you're putting the tag title match here, in which case, like,
that's my only thing is that if there's gold being defended on your show, to me that should be the thing that closes. But I actually really liked the match. It just doesn't really mean anything.
No, I don't care. I just don't like. And they made sure that to let me know by the end that I shouldn't have cared. Because guess what?
Yes,
it doesn't matter. Like Natty was just being a bitch to like see if Cora could hang, and anyway,
which is a really tired story with Cora too. Like did that with Raquel.
The match is fine. It's Cora Jade versus a boat.
Well, hold on, because there were things in the match that I actually liked. Right. Like I don't think we've seen Cora do a ton of like submission style chain wrestling, which we got to see some of here. Yeah. I felt like the in-ring was actually very strong on this, which is, of course, like something that Natty's probably going to be able to give you, which is kind of the reason she's here. But stylistically, I did feel like we saw a lot of stuff that we haven't seen from Cora Jade before, which was refreshing. And it didn't feel like she was still fighting from underneath, but it didn't feel quite so like pathetic underdoggy. Like this felt like, because it was submission style and there was like some back and forth, like it, to me, it felt like even when one person was in control, it didn't mean that like the other person was made to look super weak. Like I actually liked a lot of what happened between the ropes. Did it feel main event worthy? No. Did the finish make sense? Not really. But I'm trying to find something in the show. Dakota Kai's gone. Malcolm Bivens is gone. What do you want from me? Like I'm working really hard.
It's gonna take a lot for me to find anything in Cora Jade anymore. Like they need to move the character along somewhere. Because I feel like she's in the same spot she was like at War Games, if not before. Like she's just everybody's younger sister who's trying to prove that she belongs, but like you've been doing that for 6 months now. Yeah, like either you belong or you don't. Like let's stop with that. Like that's just, it's the same chapter over and over again. They're finding new ways of telling the same chapter of do I belong? Like the whole thing of like, hey Raquel, can I be your tag team partner? Only if I beat the hell out of you first in a match. Hey Natty, you're my hero. Do you respect me? No, I don't. But wait, you didn't tap out to the sharpshooter. You passed out. That means you passed the test. But then next week, she's going to have to prove herself to Nikita Lyons or something. Like, it's just going to be this thing over and over and over again. Do something with the character. Like, I agree, she's progressing better in the ring, getting better and better. But, like, that's not enough in this company to stand out.
Other things with that too, the Natty, you're my hero crap doesn't really work when she clearly is obsessed with AJ Lee, and that's been vocalized and shown in video packages before and stuff. Like that wasn't her girl growing up, and you can't convince me otherwise. The other thing with all this is, and I don't mean to play like comparison games between talent, but if I'm on the main roster and I'm looking down the pike, I'm seeing punk rock version of Roxy who's not as good right now. Like at the end of the day, like sorry, if I'm calling someone up tomorrow, it's Roxy. So my fear when Roxy got called up, because I was very familiar with her work too, was that they're too similar. They're too similar in size, they're too similar in style, and they're too similar in like vibe that's being developed for them. And that's really, really, really concerning. Also, for the love of God, drop the skateboard. She looks like an idiot now. I don't know how it's gotten worse since Stand and Deliver. It has gotten worse. Today, it went like 2 feet, and she was like, and I'm off of it. And I'm holding it in my hand. Like, she can't skateboard. Don't pretend she can skateboard. Not everyone needs a fucking hobby. Like, it's fine. But I just think it's always dangerous when you have two wrestlers who are very similar in how they're presented and how they work and how they look a little bit and in stylistically in the ring. So like you've really got to start teasing out the differences between those two, or one of them is going to get halted. And at this point, to me, that feels like Cora Jade's going to be the one to get halted by that.
Yeah, it's true. Mark Quill says, what happens if you put the horse on the boat?
Ooh.
Special guest star on the horse lawyer, the boat, Natty. The horse.
I guess, you know what? If they had framed this match of, is Cora a future boat?
Yeah.
And she just started off as like a little pedal boat or something.
I guess we should say the whole thing was that Natty kept working the leg and everything of Cora, and eventually Cora got in the sharpshooter, kept trying to get to the ropes, but Natty kept pulling her back, and she passed out from the pain rather than tap out. And Natty seemed confused by why the bell was called for, and then the ref told her, "Oh no, she passed out in the hold," and Natty's whole demeanor changed. and she walked over to Cora Jade and she picked her up and she gave her a big hug because you passed out in the hold instead of tapping out. That means you were strong enough to not give up. Your body did give out though, but that's different. Doesn't really matter. And now you've passed the test and now we're friends. Like, okay, whatever. It's just the same. It's the same basic idea that happened with Raquel. They're just telling the same story over and over again. That's all.
Yeah, and it's like eventually, I actually have this problem with Darby Allin on AEW sometimes, where now him and Swerve, this was not the case. Him and MJF, this was not the case. But the fighting from underneath story, if you don't pay it off by having that guy look good at some point, it runs really tired, like very fast, because it justifies you not being able to buy in the first place, right? Like Bryan Danielson is my height, maybe shorter, but that dude could beat your ass. like he is lethal and he can kick your ass in about 8 different ways. And so just because he's a smaller dude, it's still very easy for me to buy in that he could win the David and Goliath story. If someone's constantly fighting from underneath and I've already bought in, that just it just doesn't connect. You don't get to go to that well that many times and it be good.
Nurguru says, Kate, welcome back. We love you and you're amazing. The cure to the dreck we all just sat through and a bright spot in that IWC. Why couldn't Cora just go over? Like, who cares? It's Natty. Perpetual loser. No one cares about Natty. Also, Roxy got pinned. Yuck. I don't think Roxy needed to take the pin in the tag match.
Yeah, that's it. Call that out. That was stupid.
Especially since she has a breakout tournament to win.
Yeah, and like, Wendy Choo's right there. And, like, there's been so much tension between Wendy Choo and Toxic Attraction since before Roxy was even called up. Like, there was absolutely no reason that Roxy should have taken that pin. That was weird. Yeah.
Mark Quill sends us a Humper Chat movie review. Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, a movie that is very entertaining and basically what you expect from an MCU film done by Sam Raimi. I'd give this a 4 out of 5. Thank you very much, Mark Quill, for that movie review.
I don't do creepy.
I think people say like there's some horror elements of it, but yeah, just it's so funny.
Yeah. If I can buy into wrestling, that means I can buy into anything, right? So if I'm buying into horror, I will not sleep for weeks. It's just not going to happen.
JW Pringle says NXT 2.0 sucks. This is much more fun.
Well, thank you.
And,
I agree.
But Thomas LaValle says, I love 2.0. They are decent in the ring, but amazing in Yas. They've completely found their niche with Jericho, and the way they work with Daniel Garcia. Whoops, you NXT 2.0. Yeah, no, I only know about that from this recap.
Now that's entertainment.
There you go. Matthew Plus says, here's some thank you money for Luis. What's he like? What's his job, actually? Who is the man behind the message board? And Luis responds, moderator, live coverage writer, and ROH bootlicker. That's what his job title is.
ROH?
Nerd Guru says New Jersey doesn't suck because our pizza is better than yours and you know it. And Kate lives here. We are basically as cool as our population is dense.
Which is pretty cool. Thank you very much.
Great Clay says, happy early birthday, Kate. You and Alex enhance my love of professional wrestling and in turn make my life appreciably and noticeably better. And I know I'm not the only one. Thanks for everything. Hashtag SGS.
That's so kind of you. Thank you.
That's so nice. Okay, we are. This is an early episode, guys, because what the hell is there to talk about? Now all we got left. All I got left is the jukebox.
Wait, but we haven't heard from Linda at all.
I mean, I suppose nobody asked for Linda.
Nobody asked for Linda?
I guess you're asking for Linda.
I mean, I'm always asking for Linda. For the Linder. Talk to me about the boat and the horse.
Well, listen. Now, there was one time that that I tried to put a horse on a boat, and it did not end well for the boat or the horse. The boat sank, so did the horse. It was a terrible tragedy. I suppose we should have used something bigger than a rowboat to try and take the horse across the lake. But hindsight is always 2020. Well, the horse needed to go across. There was a farm across the lake. That was where we would.
Was this the Oregon Trail?
No. Well, listen, this was after the. Once we reached Oregon, then there was a lake, and we had to get the horse across the lake. And I suppose we could have just ridden the horse around the lake. But hindsight is always 2020.
It's true. Was your 12-year-old husband dead of dysentery yet?
Oh yeah, he had died years before. Gotcha. So it was just me, little Linda on the prairie, the Linda house on the prairie. That's where I lived, and I was just trying to get this horse across a lake, and the horse was tired. We didn't want to ride the horse. He was tired, so we said we'll just put him in the rowboat, and then we'll just row him across the lake. But those things are not rated for horse weight. Whatever a horse weighs, it's over the maximum weight for a rowboat.
How many horsepower in the rowboat?
It was just me, so not much.
Not much.
Just me trying to row a horse.
And I bet you could do it now.
Now I could. Back then, no, I was a frail little thing.
Of course.
There's your Linda.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So now we have people who are asking for more songs. There we go. So we're going to start with the batted to one Jam Beard says Linda of Green Gables. Jim Pringle says Tony D sings Margaritaville by Jimmy Buffett. Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. All of those tourists covered with oil, strumming my 6-string on my front porch swing. Smell those shrimp, they're beginning to boil. Wasting away again in Margaritaville, searching for my lost sacred salt. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. How you doing? But I know it's nobody's fault. Gabagool. Yeah. So now we need Jake Salazar says I need Linda to sing the area codes by Ludacris.
What a choice.
Here we go. I've got hoes in different area codes. Hoes in different area codes. Now you thought I was just 770 and 404. I'm worldwide, bitch. Act like y'all don't know. It's the abominable hoe man. Globetrot, International Postman, Neighbor Dick Dope Man, 718-202s. I said small cities and states IOUs. 901, matter of fact, 305. I'll jump on the G4. We can meet outside, so control your hormones and keep your drawers on. Till I close the door and I'm jumping your bones. 312s, 313s, oh. 215s, 803s, oh. Read your horoscope and eat some hors d'oeuvres, oh. 10 on pump 1. These hoes is self-serve 74741 my cell phone just overloads. I got hoes. I've got hoes in different area codes. Pedro says, what does Linda think of all the NXT kidnappings? It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. I've been kidnapped many times before in my life. It's never fun. They never have good food. They never have kosher food there whenever you're kidnapped. It's terrible. I just want a nice pastrami. They don't have the pastrami.
Even if that Tony D'Angelo was kidnapped?
No, listen, I think it's all taken out of context that Tony D would never kidnap anybody. He's a nice boy. But no, usually when you're kidnapped, it's not like they're taking you to the Ritz. It's usually just some dank back room somewhere.
How many times have you gotten kidnapped?
Well, it was my third husband when we were living in Mexico, and he was a rich diplomat, and they would kidnap me and hold me for ransom, but really he wanted to divorce me anyway, so he wasn't paying up, so I would just sit there for weeks and weeks on end, and finally they were like, get this old bag out of here, and they just let me go.
They just didn't want to deal with you anymore.
They didn't want to deal with me anymore. Why would you want to do that? Okay. So Mark Will says, recent number 8,000 White Kate is the best. She's been a great influence on the SGS community and helping get time together. Good night, everyone. Good night, Mark Will.
Good night, Mark. Thank you.
Hold on, I got this one already. Mark Will says, what do Linda and Sheila think of the Judgment Day?
The Judgment Day. It sounds like I named them. They should more like the House of Black. They're terrible.
The Edge and the Damian Priest
and the Rhea Ripley, who I really enjoyed before she dyed her hair black and her eyebrows too. That does not wash out, by the way. You've got eventually your roots are going to start coming back in, but your eyebrows are still. If they don't fall out, they're going to be black forever. I hope you like that, Rhea. Hope it was worth it. Jake Salazar says that he loves Alex. I don't know why.
I do. You be nice to that, Alex.
Ricardo the Bot Guy says, I curse Matthew Plus to step on small Legos. We got a couple more jukeboxes and then we're out of here, kids, because we're already at 1:56.
We were going to finish early and then I made you switch in Linda mode. Linda on a different level mode.
I don't even know anything about this. Here we go.
This is You Can't Stop the Beat from Hairspray. You can't stop an avalanche as it races down the hill. You could try to stop the seasons, girl, but you never will. And you try to stop my dancing feet, but I just cannot stand still because the world keeps spinning round and round and my heart's keeping time to the speed of sound. I was lost till I heard the drums and then I found my way because you can't stop the beat. Ever since this whole world began, a woman found out if she shook it, she could shake up a man. And so I'm going to shake and shimmy it the best that I can today. Anyway, we got to get one more in here.
You can't stop the beat of Linda.
Because this is my fault. Because he mentioned it, can we get Alex singing Pinky in the Brain theme song in multiple voices?
Gee, Brain, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we try to do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane.
Their laboratory mice, their genes have been spliced. Their dinky, their Pinky, and their brain.
Before each night is done, their plan will be unfurled. By the dawning of the sun, they'll take over the world. Their Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. The Twilight Campaign.
It's easy to explain. To prove their mousy worth,
they'll overthrow the earth. Their dinky, their Pinky, and their brain. North.
That's it. Guys, that's it. That's all. I'm not doing anymore. I don't know if there were any more. Oh no. Okay, here we go. We got 1 minute of William Regal singing Def Leppard's Photograph.
Better than Nickelback's.
I'm out of luck, out of love, got a photograph, picture of passion killer, you're too much, you're the only one I want to touch. I see your face every time I dream, on every page, every magazine. So wild and free, so far from me, you're all I want, my fantasy. Oh, look what you've done to this rock and roll clown. Oh, look what you've done. Photograph, I don't want your photograph, I don't need your photograph. All I've got is a photograph, but it's not enough. War games!
Listen to On Through the Night, not Pyromania. You're better than that.
Follow Kate at Miss Kate Fabe.
Yeah, whenever I come back.
Whenever she's around. And also on Kate's Instagram on Instagram.
Yes,
and follow me at Alex Sour Graps. Look out for more of us later this week on the Jimmy Van show, where we review Is It Cake? Thanks everybody. Keep cool, Gabagool.